Hey boys and girls, Bored now back with you, and on this video I'm not reviewing anything. Instead I'm gonna throw the floor open to you because I want you to help me decide which show I will review next. And when I say which show, I mean which kind of older show, because of course I do retro reviews on this channel. I'm currently doing Gilmore Girls, making my way through all 7 seasons of that, and I'm also doing the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I'm on season 2 of that, and again there's 7 seasons. So they're long-term projects, but because we're in this odd situation at the moment with TV where over the next couple of months it's going to be slowing down really. Productions obviously are shut at the moment. The future's a bit uncertain as to when it's going to open up again, what's going to happen exactly. So certainly sometime this year over the summer, I think maybe getting into September, we're going to see far less new television shows, so that will certainly free up more time on the channel for me to review other stuff, older stuff maybe, both TV and film. So I thought this would actually be a good time to add another older show to the review schedule anyway. Now actually one of these, which you'll notice, isn't an older show, it's actually a more modern show, and one that's currently, well, it's been on anyway, and I think that there's probably going to be another season of it, but I just put that one in for contrast because I know it's something which someone requested. But yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of throw it over to you guys, and I'm going to give you 4 options, and it's your job to let me know in the comments which one you want to see me review next. And once I've, obviously got the final verdict from you guys, then I'll start on whatever show it turns out to be pretty damn soon. Next couple of months, actually, probably less than 2 months. So the 4 shows I'm putting up for you to vote. The first one is The X-Files, and The X-Files really needs no introduction. Even if you've never seen an episode in your life, you kind of know what the X-Files is, what the deal is. Mulder, Scully, cigarette smoking man, the truth is out there, all that. But a really revolutionary television sci-fi series from the 90s, and obviously, as we all know, it did go on a long time and into the 2000s and the recent revival. So if that gets voted on, I of course will do the revival seasons as well, so all 11 seasons, and I guess I'll maybe have to do the films as well. But the X-Files, big show of mine growing up, a big favourite, certainly a lot it would make for a good review series. I think there would be a lot to talk about with the X-Files as you went along. And it's kind of a landmark show coming when it did, because it started in 1993, and that's like a few years after Twin Peaks. And of course Twin Peaks, another show I'll review on this channel one day, that was kind of the big television show which started all this modern era kind of real quality TV becoming more cinematic, more kind of storyline driven, more like with continuing sort of arcs. And Twin Peaks, obviously the show that started all that, but X-Files came a few years later, so I think that was definitely the next big show, if you like. And it's interesting looking back on X-Files because it's a show which was very different for its time, because back in the early 90s you still had a lot of like typical TV shows which weren't in the mold of like a Twin Peaks or an X-Files, but Yeah, X-Files certainly a much talked about show, especially in the early seasons. So that would make a very interesting watch through. Certainly it would take a very long time, probably the longest of any of these choices. But X-Files is one choice. Another one going back even further is The Fugitive from the 1960s. And this is something I had an idea of doing because obviously a lot of these shows I do, they're either current shows or they're kind of shows from maybe 20 years ago, maybe a bit less. So just because obviously really the changing of the guard with TV and the changes and a lot of the great shows that we think of, I think do come from a certain time period, about 20 years, over the last 20 years. So, but you do forget that there's some really great television that came before that. And The Fugitive is one where it stands out as a very different crime drama for its era. It was really the first crime drama, I'd say, probably where you did have continuing storylines where it was like serialized, which wasn't the typical back in the 60s. I think normally it was very much case of the week. And I've never seen The Fugitive, so I would be going in cold, but I hear very good things. I hear a lot of people mention it as one of the best TV shows of all time. And some of you, if you're a bit younger, you might, like me, obviously, you might know more about the Oscar winning film from the early 90s, Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford, which yeah, won a few big awards at the Oscars, and be more familiar with that. So it would be very interesting for me to do The Fugitive. It would be something where I would be seeing it for the first time. So The Fugitive is another option. And I mean, speaking of iconic, speaking of epic, the third option is Lost. Lost, one of the great event shows ever, as far as I'm concerned. I've watched it twice now, all the way through, and it's just mind blowing. I mean, it's just, regardless of whether there's criticisms, whether you really love it, whichever side you fall on, I think you would be hard pressed to say that Lost isn't like an unforgettable show. And I think coming when it did, it was one of those early examples of event TV, of like the whole water cooler type culture. So, and I think that's episode to episode. Like, it was just one of those rare shows where the majority of episodes seem to be like that, which is quite rare for a show. So Lost is another one that would be fantastic to talk about, and I'm sure would give me plenty to like mull over. Certainly, I could talk about some of like the theories surrounding the show and just maybe my impressions on exactly what direction they were going in, but Lost again's one I will do one day regardless, but that's the third choice on the poll. And the fourth choice, I hinted at a more recent show, and I know it's something one of my followers wanted at some point, and I think I put it on like my list when I asked people for future content suggestions, and that is Black Mirror, the anthology show from Charlie Brooker, and originally Channel 4 and recently Netflix took it over, but one of the most talked about cult series of our times, and one which has delved into a lot of fascinating and kind of like bleak and disturbing like modern issues around technology. So Black Mirror is the fourth option if you'd like me to review that. That would obviously be a shorter one, obviously less episodes per season, but I would be very happy to do it. That's another one I've not seen, Black Mirror. So if you want me to check out Black Mirror, then let me know in the comments below. But your 4 options, just to repeat: first you've got the X-Files, then you've got the Fugitive, then you've got Lost, and fourth is Black Mirror. So X-Files, Lost, the Fugitive, or Black Mirror are your 4 options. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see. Like and subscribe once again, and I'll be starting whichever show you pick very soon. And don't worry, I've not forgotten about the other 3. They will be rolled over for another time. In fact, I might come back and add like another show, a 4th show to the original 3. But let me know which of those 4 shows you would like me to review in the future. So X-Files, Lost, Black Mirror, or The Fugitive. And I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.